All right, we're recording. I'm here with George Frangos. He's a big deal in the George Organics family. He's a board member and longtime friend. So thank you for joining us. This is our COVID-19 edition of the Atlanta Foodcast. And I'm just going to talk to George a little bit about what's happening with Farmburger, with the Farmburger family. George, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the origin story of Farmburger. I understand we're coming up at a big milestone.
Yeah, it's tomorrow is actually our 10-year anniversary. So it's been certainly an interesting time. We had big plans of celebrations and whatnot, and a whole kind of year-long part of events, but a little bit more subdued, but it makes it a very kind of cool, reflective time on some levels. But quick origin story, Farmburger, I would say, has there's a farmer in Farmburger, not me per se, although I know certainly a lot about it now. But my partner, Jason Mann, was farming up in Athens and had a restaurant, Farm 255, and had a farm, Full Moon Farms, which is actually still in existence. I ran into the current farmer up there just at the George Organics conference. He was
cool.
Very cool to see the name still floating around. But we started 10 years ago in Decatur with one spot, and really the idea was start a grass-fed neighborhood burger joint, and Jason would really head up the supply chain and the raising of grass-fed beef, for partnering with people and pigs and chickens and such, and kind of build off that. And long-time partner with George Organics, the whole crew and everyone there, and it's been exciting 2 years ago to join the board and be involved kind of behind the scenes with everything you guys do.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you for it. Talk a little bit about the Farmburger mission, and let's get into just talking about what's going on right now.
Sure.
It's a pandemic, business has changed. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we're just talking about that kind of word pivot. Like many people now in the restaurant, food service business and farming, it's been now 30 days, 4 weeks really, since I think everything started. I think March 18th is that day that will kind of live in infamy, so to speak, as that jumping point. And so for us, it was, a really hard moment for us because we had to furlough, 60, 70% of our team. We temporarily closed down 3 of our locations. And like many people, you just kind of regroup, look to what the next week's going to be, what the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks at this point. And so now we're at that point, 4 weeks in. And, we're fortunate enough to really already be in this to-go and delivery kind of model, where it's maybe 15 to 20% of our business.
Really? Yeah. And is that through third party?
A little bit of everything. We've got our own online ordering platform where people can order and then come pick up. We've got our Farmburger app, and then the third-party delivery companies. So that was an easy part for us to change, but sort of how we executed it within our own teams and what that meant, and not knowing what the business level would be. But I would say it's been really exciting, the community support. I think as the last 4 weeks, the business levels from some of our early stores, like in Dunwoody and obviously Decatur and Buckhead, just there's sort of a little bit of a feeling like the early days, where it's just sort of that neighborhood community support and care and what we're doing in our customers and our people and our staff.
Yeah, and that's just through kind of the neighborhood coming back and doing their pickups and everything like that.
Yeah, I live not in Decatur, but very close by, and just might run into people on the street, on the other side of the street, and they might give me a little shout out of like, hey, we had Farmburger last night. Thank you so much.
Cool.
Or people emailing me who I know and just concerned about us and how they can support, buying gift cards, just ordering food, all those kind of things. So that's been great.
Yeah. Well, what are some of those tangible, logistics changes that you've had to make? What are y'all doing on day to day now? And also, how can, how can other eaters around the city, maybe if they haven't had y'all yet during their quarantine time, how can they get to you?
Well, we do the third-party deliveries. One thing that's been, and I think a lot of restaurateurs say it, it's like by having this happen, there might be a lot of things that were on our table discussing, things we wanted to try and do. And this is kind of, use the word when we were talking, kind of like shoved us to make decisions, right? So for us, it was kind of reevaluating our relationship with local farmers and local communities, and how do we get back to being a little bit more engaged in the seasonality and finding some strong partners. And as we've grown over 10 years, our partners have grown too. So they're farming more, their herds of cattle have tripled. Their access to us has really increased. So reevaluating those relationships. One of the things we're doing this week, we're launching kind of like our weekly seasonal burgers with some old farm partners like Marriott Decimal Place, and some new people at like Raul at Snapfinger and West Georgia Cooperative. So starting to blend those things back into our everyday menu.
That's great.
And then another exciting piece is, with the changes in kind of this ability for restaurants to act as groceries. So we've been able to do kind of our backyard cookout pack, where you can just kind of come in and get, beef, buns, cheese, sauce, caramelized onions, some King of Pops popsicles, and you don't have to go to the yucky grocery store and just kind of fire up your grill. So the response there has been great. So people just coming back and like, getting one for my neighbor.
Those are so, I saw that on y'all's Instagram. It's such a great idea, but I think that's one of those things that I've noticed that's a good long-term idea. Like that is a fun, it's something that is still, they're getting a taste of farm burger. They're getting sort of that family, hands-on DIY at home experience. And they're also getting ingredients that come from local farmers. So it's really a triple whammy.
Yeah. And I do think I think all of this is, and we don't know where this is going to land, what normal is, what the new normal is. But I do feel like people are also they have to shop more. Obviously, can't go out, and maybe again, it's this second look of the consumer looking at supply chain, where their food comes from, just even beyond just the great farmers markets that we have, right? And connecting once again to all the farmers. You guys have done this great job with like the online marketplace for farmers, and I just get this feeling that there's just like a second reconnection here going on.
I think you speak for a lot of folks that are noticing that right now, especially when you look at, the implications for the global supply chain and people having a very tangibly renewed interest in buying locally. So, a lot of the farmers that we speak with, they're taking their business online. Maybe they had their CSA signups online, but now they're taking these sort of weekly farm boxes online, and you sign up there and you pick up a safe pickup locally, and y'all have certainly made that adjustment too. And again, I think it's what you're saying about, push comes to shove. And I think this looks like shove for a lot of people, but it's in several instances it's working. Businesses is, if not necessarily uptaking, it's at least staying steady, and it's providing some stability in this very unstable time. Well, tell me a little bit about once this is all over, hopefully we can all get out of our doggone houses soon and get back to restaurants, because I know I miss sitting down and having a drink and having a good meal. What does new normal look like for y'all? Are y'all planning ahead? What are you kind of identifying as how things will look at Farm Burger when this is all over?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing as I look at it is again, just evaluating where we are. Our
Mm-hmm.
last few years, we had a great foothold, and we looked at the growth of our restaurants and how do we grow our farmers and expand, give them more opportunities as we maybe open new farm burgers and more farm burgers. And I think what's going to happen now, there will be a reevaluation of where we are as a company and a
Mm-hmm.
restaurant group, and say, okay, let's just refocus on what we're doing,
Yeah.
refocus on all those original commitments, and
Mm-hmm.
our mission. You used the word mission earlier, um,
Mm-hmm.
and not knowing what the landscape is in terms of where the whole restaurant community is, and maybe there's more opportunities for us to support our team and our employees and our communities,
Mm-hmm.
and all those things that kind of supported us 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now or in normal
Mm.
normal times, y'all have always been such a good example, and I think very much coincide with Georgia Organic's mission, which is
Mm.
providing organic food from Georgia farms to Georgia families. And I know y'all certainly enact that, and you've done a really stellar job of doing that right now, in spite of things.
Right.
So thank you for
Yeah.
what you're doing, and we really appreciate you from Georgia Organics. And I want to just kind of wrap up with a couple things that you would share with other business owners, as far as, like, I don't know, words of wisdom for right now,
Right.
and then too, any urgings you might have for eaters or for
Mm.
consumers or your neighbors in the community, and how to support restaurants right now.
I think the other part of the community is it's been a time where a lot of what we do, we're always so busy, right? And so
Yeah.
now having almost less to do, I feel like there's been a restaurant community, or at least people I know, I'd say my peers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Helping each other, finding out who needs what, right?
Yeah.
It might be supply, it could be with staffing, um, or how do we take care of our employees
Mm-hmm.
that we've had to furlough. So that's been really, really great. And I think that the outreach amongst all of ourselves in the restaurant business has been really exciting, that kind of reconnection. Um, and consumers, there's so many opportunities, and again, I think they get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel helping out the little guys. We hear the news, the SBA loans, the different opportunities, and
Yeah.
they're there, but they're a struggle, and they're not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And I think all of us within the restaurant community appreciate the
Mm-hmm.
the business and the
Yeah.
volume. And it's certainly half of what it used to be, but half is better than zero. Or even
Yeah.
10% is
Yeah.
better than zero.
And hopefully, the folks that are coming in, it's kind of like you say, they are the neighbors. They're the people that
Mm,
are really,
yeah.
that get the investment that they're making right now. And
Right.
y'all as a business, and y'all as neighbors and friends. I think
Right.
that's what we've all come to realize is, you know, we consume a lot when times are great, and when times are down, I think we realize our consumption habits, and two, the people that are feeding us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
So. Um, so yeah, it's very bittersweet,
Yeah.
it's wish the reasons for a lot of this were different,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some sweet side coming out of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the best ways? I know y'all have some gift cards that kind of help us out a little too. So talk about what are the best ways for folks to find Farm Burger right now and enjoy it.
Yeah, the gift cards are great. We've been 25% of gift card sales have been going to the farmers funds, which
Amazing.
is
Thank you.
very soft spot in my heart for
Yeah.
that organization. And then the 25% is going to our own internal kind of farm burger fund for our employees.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and I think you can look at the Instagrams, the emails and stuff. And we're trying to now start to get some creativity as we kind of figured out where we are.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to happen overnight,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hopefully we feel a little bit safer in other parts of industries and businesses where people can get out more or have their income coming back. But I think restaurants it's going to be a bit of time.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so I would say I was a little worried the first 2 weeks. Was this just an initial bump? People wanted to support the local restaurants, and would there be this big, kind of
Mm-hmm.
slide in week 3 or 4 or 5 or 6? But it's been nice and consistent. In talking
Good.
to other people I know in the business, it's been heartfelt and warming the support. Like, okay, we can make something out of this. So,
Yeah. Well,
and
good.
I think restaurateurs and farmers and everyone, we're all entrepreneurs at heart,
Mm-hmm.
right? So farmers have to deal with the weather, the unknowns, the bugs every year and every season. So it's just an example of you get what you get and you figure it
Yeah.
out.
It's a challenging season, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, George. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And yeah, I know I've been checking out y'all's social media, Farm Burger on Facebook and Instagram,
Yep.
and seeing. I know for me, I'm like the visual always decides my
Right.
meal that night. So that the burger y'all post, the special burger y'all posted this week, I think that's
Oh yeah.
a deciding dinner time factor. So thank you for
There you
that.
go. You're
And as
welcome.
always, I'm sure it's good to, third party, but also that pickup element, I'm sure is pretty important for you guys too, to kind of have folks directly coming to you. And there's a little bit of safe distancing, but a little interface there, a little getting to say hey. And
Yeah, and we do the curbside, so
yeah,
it's always
yeah,
you can order, you pull up, tell us we're there, we'll just bring it right on out.
it's perfect. What more
Yeah,
could you need?
yeah, exactly.
Well, anything else, George? Again, we really appreciate your time.
No, I'm glad you guys are still able to do this and
Yeah.
get the word out. And Georgia Organics, those guys have been working really hard. The Farmer Champions and
Yep.
whatnot. It's been
They're doing great
exciting to
work.
see
Yeah.
the different farmers and their postings and working
Yeah.
with the farmers markets. And it's been like, we're open, we're closed. Okay, we got a new system. We got a new system. We got a
Yeah.
new. But that's all important. Everyone's kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to figure out and help
You have to
everyone.
be nimble, that's for sure. This is a
Yeah,
time for that. But
yeah.
yeah. Well,
All right.
awesome. Well, thank you. Go
Okay.
ahead and switch us off here.